My sister demanded I give her my college fund for her wedding, then called me selfish when I refused. I always knew my sister Lisa had a flair for the dramatic, but nothing could have prepared me for the chaos that unfolded when she announced her engagement. Lisa had always been the golden child in the family, constantly at the center of attention and used to getting her way. So when she declared she was going to have the wedding of her dreams, no one was particularly surprised. What did catch me off guard, though, was her expectation that I would fund it, specifically that I would hand over my entire college fund to make it happen. It started off innocently enough. We were having dinner as a family when Lisa and her fiancé, Ryan, began talking about their wedding plans. I was happy for her. After all, who wouldn't want to see their sister marry the person they love? But as the conversation progressed, I noticed that the wedding plans were far more extravagant than anything I had ever imagined. Lisa talked about designer dresses, a high-end venue, a 5-course dinner, and even fireworks to top it all off. It sounded more like a celebrity wedding than something two people in their 20s could reasonably afford. I didn't say anything at first, figuring it was just excitement talking and that they would scale down the plans once they saw the price tags. But Lisa was nothing if not determined. She had her heart set on the kind of wedding you'd see in a movie, and it didn't seem like she was willing to compromise. A few days later, Lisa called me and casually brought up the topic again. "You know, you're the maid of honor," she said with a grin. "It would mean so much to me if you could help out with some of the costs. It's going to be such a special day for the whole family." I didn't mind helping, of course. I'd already planned to chip in for some of the smaller things, like the bachelorette party, or maybe even the bridesmaid dresses. But something in Lisa's tone made me uneasy. "What kind of help are you talking about?" I asked cautiously. "Well," she said, dragging out the word, "Mom and Dad told me they've been saving a college fund for you for years, and since you're still figuring out what you want to do with school, I was thinking, maybe you could use it for something more immediate, like my wedding." I almost dropped the phone. "You want me to give you my college fund? For your wedding?" She didn't even hesitate. "Yeah, I mean, think about it. You're not even in school right now, and this wedding is a once-in-a-lifetime event. You'll get plenty of chances to go to college, but this is my big day. It's for the family." I couldn't believe what I was hearing. I had always planned on going to college, and while I hadn't figured out exactly what I wanted to study yet, that money had been saved up for my education. My parents had sacrificed a lot to put that fund together, and the idea of using it for something as fleeting as a wedding seemed completely out of the question. "Lisa," I said, trying to stay calm, "that money is for my future. It's not something I can just give away." She didn't like that response. "Oh, come on," she said, her voice tinged with annoyance. "It's not like you're using it right now. And honestly, what's more important, some far-off college plans or my wedding that's happening in just a few months? You'd be doing something so meaningful for me. It's not like I'm asking for much." I was stunned by her entitlement. I had always known Lisa could be selfish, but this was on another level. "Lisa, I'm not giving you my college fund," I said firmly. "That money is for my education, and I'm not going to jeopardize my future for a wedding." That's when things took a nasty turn. "Wow," she snapped, "I can't believe how selfish you're being. After everything I've done for you, you can't even help me out when I need it the most. You know, if the roles were reversed, I'd do it for you without a second thought." That was the part that hurt the most. The idea that she thought I was selfish, when all I was doing was protecting my future, felt like a slap in the face. I had always supported Lisa, through every life decision and every dramatic moment, and now, when I didn't give in to her unreasonable demand, I was the bad guy. I tried to explain my side, but she wasn't having any of it. She hung up on me, and the next thing I knew, she had run straight to our parents, spinning the story to make it seem like I was being unreasonable. I got a call from my mom later that night, asking me why I couldn't just help out and why I was making things difficult for Lisa. It was infuriating. I had to sit there and explain to my own parents why I wasn't willing to give up the money they had worked so hard to save for me. To their credit, they eventually understood my side, but it didn't make things any easier with Lisa. She stopped speaking to me for weeks, and when she finally did, her attitude was icy. Every time we talked, she made passive-aggressive comments about how some people didn't know how to put family first. As the wedding approached, things only got worse. Lisa seemed determined to paint me as the villain in her fairy tale story, telling anyone who would listen that I had refused to help her on the most important day of her life. It got to the point where I started avoiding family gatherings just to escape the awkward tension. But despite all the drama, I stood my ground. I wasn't about to give in to her emotional manipulation, and I certainly wasn't going to hand over my college fund just because she had decided her wedding was more important than my education. Eventually, the wedding came and went. It was as over-the-top and lavish as Lisa had dreamed, but it left her and Ryan deep in debt. Meanwhile, I continued to work towards my goals, enrolling in college and focusing on my future. Our relationship hasn't been the same since. Lisa still holds a grudge, and there are times when I wonder if she'll ever forgive me for not giving in to her demands. But looking back, I don't regret my decision. I've learned that sometimes you have to put yourself first, even if it means disappointing the people you care about. Family or not, no one has the right to ask you to sacrifice your future for their momentary happiness. In the end, the whole ordeal taught me something important about boundaries. Just because someone is family doesn't mean they're entitled to everything you have. I'm proud of the fact that I stood up for myself, even when it was hard and even when it meant dealing with the fallout from Lisa's anger. My college fund was never meant to be a bargaining chip for someone else's dreams. It was meant for me, and I'm going to use it to build the future I've always wanted.